Welcome to Step Rumor.
This series contains unverified tales and folklore passed down through generations, created solely for your entertainment.
The evolution of paranormal perception in Mongolia, a historical perspective. In Mongolian history, the discourse surrounding the existence of spirits, demons, and the paranormal is viewed through three distinct eras, each reflecting the shifting social, political, and cultural landscape of the nation. These three periods are each characterized by their own unique circumstances, revealing the varied ways in which Mongolians have perceived, understood, and reacted to supernatural phenomena throughout the ages. 1. The era of incense and scripture, the influence of the Qing dynasty and Buddhism. During the long-standing domination of the Manchu Qing dynasty, the Mongolian steppe underwent a profound transformation, becoming unusually subdued. In the past, every household had raised warrior men on horseback, fully armed and ready to ride for martial glory, causing the entire world to tremble. Now, however, more than the sound of horses neighing, the scent of incense filled the air, and the ringing of temple bells resonated at every threshold. It was a period when nearly 40 to 50% of the male population had traded their traditional silk robes for the red and yellow garments of monks, shaving their heads to enter the clergy. This massive social shift fundamentally altered the Mongol worldview, especially regarding how they perceived paranormal phenomena. Ancient beliefs regarding the masters of mountains, rivers, and shamanic spirits began to fade, and in their place, a sophisticated, organized, universal fear, rooted in Tibetan philosophy and Buddhist scripture, permeated the depths of the culture. Mongolians began to identify and interpret strange, inexplicable occurrences in the dark of night, as well as illness and misfortune, not merely as bad omens, but as the harm caused by demons, spirits, ghouls, and other malignant entities, as taught in the scriptures. Because the people's psychology was deeply immersed in religious dogma, they did not panic when facing the supernatural. Instead, they sought the power to tame it. It was during this time that legends of high-ranking lamas, saints, and masters spread across the vast expanses of Mongolia. The chanting of mantras and the performance of rituals by the clergy became not just an act of faith, but the only shield for the common people against the forces of darkness. It was widely acclaimed in every corner of the country that no matter how fiercely invisible, terrifying spirits and demons attacked, these learned lamas could defeat them with the power of their scriptures and mantras, burying them in the depths of the earth, or taming them to become protectors of the faith. The Golden Era, where fear was defined by religion and the power to suppress it was also found within religion, continued in this manner. 2. The shadow of the red flag, repressed fear under communism. When the Manchu Qing dynasty collapsed in 1911 due to internal strife and revolution, Mongolians declared their independence and escaped their bonds, but the time for celebration was brief. The world refused to recognize the newly independent nation, and the new Chinese government began developing deceptive and military policies to swallow the vast territory whole. Here, the harmful consequences of the Manchu policy of turning men into monks became clearly apparent as the population had dwindled to less than 1 million. Because the army of monks, who were forbidden from starting families by strict religious decrees, filled the steppe, Mongolia lacked the strength to defend its nation or mobilize an army. The only path to salvation from this brink of destruction and to find a powerful ally was the newly rising Soviet Union. Although they managed to avoid the danger from China
with the help of their northern neighbor. This choice brought another terrible, red-colored storm to the steppe. When Stalin's tyranny took hold in the Soviet Union and his bloody hands covered Mongolia, the Great Purge began under the instructions of the Comintern. Not only were the intellectuals and learned scholars leading the country destroyed, but among the 30,000 Mongolians executed on false charges, 14,000 to 17,000 were monks. During this time, the highly learned, powerful lamas who had previously interpreted paranormal phenomena and protected the public were specifically targeted and eradicated. Temples were burned, sending smoke into the sky. Their idols were smashed, and their sacred scriptures were turned to ash. As the complaints, resentment, and despair of thousands of people executed on false charges flew away with their final breaths, these emotions permeated the atmosphere of the steppe. Terrifying stories of encounters with demons, ghouls, and supernatural phenomena began to increase more than ever before. Strange sounds, as if the spirits of those shot at night in prison dungeons, empty steppes, and ravines were wailing, were heard, and terrifying apparitions began to appear before people's eyes.
However, the greatest tragedy of this time lay in the fact that they were denied the possibility of fighting their fear. The Red Communists legally banned the right to practice religion and forcibly brainwashed the people, spreading the ideology that spirits and demons do not exist. This is unscientific, feudal backwardness. If someone spoke to others about encountering something paranormal or expressed fear of spirits and demons, they faced the danger of being immediately arrested as an anti-revolutionary or class enemy and executed without trial. Previously, when Mongolians encountered demons and witches, they would have scriptures read and hire lamas for protection. But now, there were no powerful lamas left to save them, and they lacked even the right to express their fear. Caught between the danger of supernatural phenomena and the iron fist of the state, the people kept their internal terror as a secret story, whispered under blankets in the dark of night, marking the darkest and most difficult era in history. 3. Spirits amidst freedom and doubt. The democratic transition. In the early 1990s, the Soviet Union collapsed, and with it, the Red Communist regime that had dominated the Mongolian steppe for 70 years fell to ruin. With the new constitution of 1992, Mongolians officially declared their absolute freedom of speech, publication, and most importantly, the freedom to practice or not practice religion. However, this freedom brought unprecedented chaos and challenges regarding the perspective of the hidden world and the power to regulate it. In the preceding centuries, Mongolians had revered the natural world and the land as living, treating them with extreme caution and fearing the masters of the mountains and waters. But during the difficult market transition period from 1992 to the early 2000s, after the collapse of the communist system, the way people lived changed. The welfare society, where the state provided everything, disappeared, and every person stopped at nothing to survive. Along with this, the traditional attitude of fearing and respecting the land, nature, and spirits weakened, and a pragmatic, self-centered mindset began to dominate. The greatest distinction of this era lay in the fact that the influence and power of the lamas, who had once blocked and regulated the various dangers of the hidden world, had declined like never before. Because traditional knowledge had been severed by the bloody storm of the purges, the generation of lamas that emerged with the wind of democracy could not compare to their predecessors. As a consequence, two opposing negative phenomena began to occur simultaneously in society: the harm of incapable and fraudulent lamas,
Some lamas, whose knowledge was not perfected and who did not understand the situation, attempted to remove fierce demons and ghouls, only to be harmed by the spirits themselves or go insane. On the other side, fake lamas, fortune tellers, and saints who played on the fear and superstition of the people to make money increased, clearly testifying that the psychological wounds and empty spaces left by the previous society had not yet vanished. The harm of atheism and ignorance in the young generation. The new young generation was raised with secular, materialist views due to the lessons of communist society and the influence of Western culture. By ignoring and failing to distinguish the things of the hidden world, and by acting boldly while saying, "There is nothing to fear," they inadvertently suffered harm from curses, the masters of sacred pristine lands, or the spirits of abandoned ruins, resulting in loss of life and health in secret. In today's Mongolian society, stories of spirits and demons are neither an official doctrine as in the Manchu era, nor a banned secret as in the communist era. The main characteristic of the third era is that they have transformed into an unanswered, chaotic state of doubt amidst digital media, rumors, and oral fear.
If these whispers moved you, leave a like and subscribe. Keep the rumor alive.